Hello, hello, hello. I was saying hello, see if anybody's came in. I told Karen, them and her stream that since the guy she lives with is going to bed and she can't live stream anymore, that I would do it so that, hello, anybody out there? Hey, King Taco, how you doing? Hi, Crystalline. How you doing, girl? What's everyone up to tonight? See what my night is. I'm just kind of sitting here. The old man's watching the movie. Figured since Karen couldn't go live, I'd hop on and go live. We could talk in my stream. This is my first live stream. Thanks, Crystal. I try to be. Not all the time. My Irish temper can get the best of me sometimes. Most of the time, I try to be a pretty happy person. I'll reach back for my cigarette. Bell, Bell, come here. Leave Daddy alone. I'm doing good, King Taco. I'm just trying to stay away from drama. I mean, I was in there and Andrea was yelling when we were all trying to give her suggestions to help her. Don't get me wrong, I love Andrea, but I'm not going to be yelled at for trying to give you suggestions on things you can do. Won't do it. You know, I would give anything to be able to eat out every night and not have to cook, but it's not feasible. When you have a family to take care of, you can't eat out every night. So this mama cooks. Yeah. I have a 17-year-old son and my own man to cook for every night. Hi, Debbie Loves Life. How you doing? All right, King Taco. Oh, this went out on me. Oh. I'm doing good, Debbie. Life could always be a lot worse. You always got to look for the positive. That's what I try to do. I got my little brat that's over there begging right now. I have a little 5-pound miniature chihuahua because Daddy's eating right now because he was sleeping earlier when Dylan and I, my son and I, ate. She's over here begging for food right now, but she'll be up here in a few minutes and she'll be right here on my lap. As long as you got food, though, she won't be here. But if you don't have food, then she's right here with mommy. So what's everybody's Friday night? So an old man's over there eating, watching a movie. My son's watching something out there. Teenagers, I don't get into half the stuff they get into. It's like, oh no. I may be old. because he makes me feel with some of the stuff. And it's like, especially his music. I'm like, this ain't music. I don't know what you call it, but this ain't music. Well, that's good, Crystal. Take it over. Bell bell. But that's all you can do is try, Crystal. Come here, Bell bell. Come up here and see mommy. Come here. Come here. Get up here, lazy butt. I'm not bending over and picking you up when you can get up here. She's spoiled. I have a little 5 pound miniature chihuahua. She's spoiled rotten. And daddy spoils her worse than I do. She's my baby. I don't know what he's watching over there. Some Steven Seagal movie. So, what's the topic for the night? Yeah, I used to raise boxers when my last one passed away. And I don't know how many of you know my story, but 5 years ago I woke up completely paralyzed from Guillain-Barré syndrome, on top of the lupus and some fibromyalgia I already have. I went to my local hospital and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and then they ended up life flighting me from our local hospital here down to Ohio State University Hospital in Columbus. And they ran every test possible, and it came back I had Guillain-Barré syndrome. Well, I had to go through rehab and learn everything over again. And with the nerve damage, I was told, I could never work again. I was a nurse, so I would be at risk with not being able to feel my arms, my hands, my legs, my feet. And I had to learn everything over again. So, yeah. And when I was down in Columbus, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on traffic from here, the only person I seen the whole time I was there, hi, Jack girl, was my cousin that worked there. Um, my mother had already passed, but my dad, my sister, never made the first trip to see me. And I was still with my son's father at that time. He never made the first trip to see me. Then I was there, thanks, Jag Girl, for about 2 months. And then they sent me back to my local hospital, to the rehab unit. And I was there for another 2 months. And then I came with home health and occupational therapy, coming into my home, working with me every day. And after, when I first got down to Ohio State University, they didn't know if I would ever regain anything again. Well, I've never been one to just sit down and roll over and take no for an answer. I mean, and I had a kid. I had to get home to my son. I wasn't going to take, I was going to be disabled, that I was going to have people take care of me. When, the whole reason I went into nursing was to take care of people, to be that person. Hi, Carmen. And I refused to take no for an answer. And I had to teach myself everything again. And life's too precious to not look for the bright side in it. And I refuse. I did it again, sitting here talking and let it go out once again. So here I am. When I was told that I would never be able to do anything. But I didn't take no for an answer. I didn't roll over and let it keep me down. Yeah, I can't work anymore, and that does bother me sometimes, but I had more time with my kid. And as long as I have him, I have Brian, and we have our little brat Belle, I'm happy. And the one thing Amy said that I probably do agree with her is, yeah, I don't live in a big fancy house, and we don't have a big fancy car. We have an old Chevy S10 truck, but I have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my back, and I put food in our bellies every night. And as long as I have that, you know, there's nights I don't feel good. And if I don't feel good, and, Brian don't have to work, he will cook those nights. 4th of July, when I did all the inside stuff, he did the ribs. My son, hi Blue Wings, how you doing, hon? Yeah, he's got some learning disabilities. I was very high risk with Dylan. I started trying to go into premature labor with him at 2 months. So they had to put me on complete bed rest. I was told that I would probably never have kids. And I had 3 miscarriages before Dylan. And he was still 2.5 months early. His lungs were underdeveloped. And he had to go down to Children's. And when he was in Children's Hospital, the only time I left that hospital and I made my aunt or one of my cousins sit there with him was long enough to go to my aunt's house, take a shower, and change clothes. And I was right back up there. They used to always joke at the hospital that when they'd come around, oh, this is baby Bates. You don't have to worry about nothing because mom never leaves. No. Hi, Heat Streak. Mom wasn't going to leave you. Sorry, that's my baby. And it broke my heart down there. You see all those babies that were born to drug addicts that were having open heart surgery or having brain surgery, and not a parent in sight with these kids. And it broke my heart. I wasn't leaving my baby there like that. And when he was 2.5 years old, he was hit in the, my nephew actually was pitching for his baseball game that night with my ex, and he overthrew my ex, and the ball hit Dylan in the side of the head, and he bounced off of my dad's lawnmower trailer and hit the ground and started going into seizures. My dad's only about 5 blocks from the hospital. I grabbed Dylan up, threw his ass in that car. I was running stop signs, everything, blowing my horn. Ran into the ER, and I'm like, look, it's Dylan. He's seasoned. I'm a nurse, but when it came to my own kid, I was freaking out. And they couldn't get him to quit season here at our local hospital. So he had to be life flighted back to Children's. And so he does have some learning disabilities because he was seizing for so long. And I know that some of you know about I know I've mentioned it in Amy's group about the bullying situation that we had here in our local schools. Now, I dealt with this from 3rd grade to 9th grade. 6 suicide attempts before we finally pulled him out of Gallion. And he does catch a bus at Gallion High School, goes to Cardington, Ohio, which is about 25-30 minute drive from here. And then they bus him back every day because of the bullying situation that we had here in our local school. You know, when you have to wrestle knives from your kid, or your kid's telling your mom, I'm hearing voices telling me to harm myself. What? And I'll be the first one to admit, every time he said it, if Brian was working or my dad was already in bed and I didn't have a car, I called the police department. Look, I got a suicidal teen here. I need to take him to the hospital. I'd ship his ass out there. They'd put him on suicide watch until they could get him in somewhere. I've had to have my son hospitalized 7 times for wanting to commit suicide. But once we got him out of Gallion, he's in the school he is now. He's doing awesome. He's an entirely different kid. And, you know, that's what I mean. I've been through so much with him that, oh, he is Carmen. He is an entirely different kid after we pulled him out of the local schools here. Well, me and some of the local parents Jack Girl, Rotten Potatoes, Blue. Imagine trying to wrestle. I had to literally football tackle my child the first time in my kitchen and wrestle knives out of his hands while his dad sat there and looked at me and said, well, I didn't know what to do. Get the knife from me. What in the hell do you think you're supposed to do? That is something. And with the bullying here in the local schools and what we've went through, I wouldn't wish on any kid, more or less, my worst enemy. And our local schools wanted to do nothing to help this child. My son and his best friend were tardy walking to school together because he had told Isaac that when he got to school, he was going to hang himself where I couldn't stop him. Yeah, imagine getting that call. Well, they called community counseling to come in and evaluate my child before they ever called me. Actually, Isaac's mother called me before the high school called me. So, yeah, now, I'm talking just like I am right now to the counselor. And I'm like, why are you guys not doing anything to help my child? I got Miss Bates. If you don't settle down, we're going to call the police and have you removed. What? Well, about that time, the doctor from community counseling walked in behind me and he's like, she wasn't raising her voice, she wasn't yelling, she just asked a question. Why would you? Yeah, they've threatened to have called the police and have me removed. The last meeting that I had with the school superintendent in Guyan City Schools, at that time, I was just learning to walk again, and I was still walking with a walker before I no longer have the walker now, thank God. But now, the school superintendent, the school principal, assistant principal, and two male teachers was in this room with me and Dylan. Every time I would ask a question, I was told, Miss Bates, if you don't shut up, let them speak, we will. And we have a police officer here in our schools called the resource officer, just in case anything would happen on the school grounds. And she kept telling me, Miss Bates, if you don't shut up and let them speak, I will arrest you. I wasn't allowed to say one word in this last meeting. Well, Dylan started getting pissed, and he's yelling at them, and they're like, "You need to settle down." And he's like, "No," and they took my kid because that resource officer, which thank God she's not on the police force no more here in town, she looked at Dylan and said, "Are you on medication?" And Dylan's like, "Yeah, I am." And she asked him, she said, "Do you want to harm yourself?" Dylan says, "No, but I have in the past." Do you know that bitch put my kid in handcuffs and shackles, put him in the back of a floor, and I told what she asked, how Dylan answered him. He asked Dylan, he said, "Do you want to harm yourself?" And Dylan's like, "No." He's like, "Let me go get your paperwork and we'll get you out of here." But yeah, that's just some of the things that I dealt with Guyan City Schools. I wouldn't recommend anybody to put their kid in Guyan City Schools at all. Hi, just me. Hi, Heat Streak, Rotten Potatoes. Can't remember if I said hi to you or not, Carmen, but hi. So, hi, Amber and Brooklyn's channel. Oh, trust me, Rotten Potatoes, under my other Facebook account, which Dylan's dad kept hacking. Hi, Bubba Boo. Good to see you in here. I had videos that I had posted the first time, well, the time I was talking about him and Isaac walking to school and he was going to hang himself at school where I couldn't stop him. Do you know, when my child signed in tardy, he wrote by his name, "I want to kill myself," and not one person in that office noticed that until his best friend went, "Hi, Karen, welcome back, King Taco," and told them that Dylan had wrote that beside his name. Not one person in that office noticed that. Yeah, if Isaac wouldn't have went back down there that day and brought it to their attention, my child probably wouldn't have been here today because he already had it planned. He was going to hang himself at school where I couldn't stop him. And that's the whole reason they were tardy that day is because Isaac was trying to talk him out of it. So, yeah. But, I try to stay positive no matter what because I have been through so much. And life's too short. It really is. We need to enjoy it. Yes, Carmen. Isaac is a very good friend. My child may be a bigger child, but he's a big teddy bear. And when I would ask him, "Dylan, why don't you fight back against these kids?" "Mom, I could hurt them." "Dylan, it's only going to take one time knocking these kids on their ass. One time. And they will leave you alone." But and Isaac's Dylan's a big boy. He is a big boy. And Isaac is just this little skinny thing. They're like total opposites. But Isaac, buddy, he's a firecracker. And I guess it's where I was raised a tomboy growing up. My sister, she was 13 years older than me. So it was basically the year she graduated, I started kindergarten. So it was like mom and dad were starting all over again. And I was the only girl in the neighborhood. So I didn't take shit off nobody. I learned to fight to survive at a young age. And I was a tomboy from hell. And I would fight you as much as look at you growing up. Didn't care. And for him to sit back and let these kids do this, and I was like, "Dylan, one time, knock one kid on their ass, one good time. That's all it's going to take." Oh no, Amber Brooklyn's channel. I'm so sorry to hear that, hon. My prayers are with you, honey. And life's too short. It really is. But he goes to an alternative school now. It's called the Tomorrow Center. And like I said, they bus him from the high school to the school every day, and then from that school back to the local high school here in town. And my child was basically failing here in Guy. He was a D&F student. My child's now an AB student there. But Miss Susie, I love her to death. The lady that runs the school there. She, when we were doing our walkthrough, when I was having him transferred from Galleon to down there to get him away from the bullying situation here in town, and I was telling her about the bullying, she stopped me. But when we were on our walkthrough, every kid that passed her, "Hi, Miss Susie," coming up, hugging her and stuff. And she's like, "I want to tell you what." She goes, "You picked the biggest kid in the school." She goes, "And I'm not afraid of him." She goes, "And you know why?" She goes, "I worked in the child prisons. I seen the bad of the bad. Not one of these kids here scare me." She goes, "I do not tolerate bullying in my school." And since he's been out of Galleon, he is an entirely different kid. Dylan is not the same kid he was when he went here to Galleon. When my mom died, I lost my happy-go-lucky child I had. And about the time that I lost my mother is when all the bullying started at school too. And he was a nanny's boy, big time. My mom thought the sun rose and set on that child. And my mom, she wasn't, "Hi AMC, how you doing?" No. All right. Good night, Amber, Brooklyn's channel. And my mom wasn't just my mom. My mom was my best friend. My mom and I did everything together. Good to see you in here, AMC. And, even when I was on bed rest, when I was pregnant with Dylan, my apartment that I lived in had stairs, and they told me I wasn't allowed to go downstairs. Well, my mom, her bedroom, because she couldn't do stairs anymore, so they turned a room downstairs at my mom and dad's house into a bedroom, bathroom, everything right there on that floor. Mom's like, "You're not going back to that apartment. You're coming and staying at the house with me until you have that baby." I slept in the bed every night with my mama. And that morning that I was in labor with them, I was sitting there, I'm timing my contractions. And I'm like, "Mom?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "I need you to get up." She's like, "Why?" I'm like, "I'm having contractions." Well, the way my parents' house went, you walk in the front door, there's the living room, then you go down, it's the kitchen, then there was a hall room, which there was a bathroom, and then my mom's bedroom, which come back into the living room. This was like a circle downstairs. I hadn't seen that woman move that fast in my many, many years. She got up, she was running, yelling for my dad to come downstairs. Dad comes running downstairs. He's like, "What's wrong? Everything okay?" I was like, "I'm in labor." And mom's all freaking out, running around. I'm like, which my sister's name is Leela. And I'm like, "Can you call Leela?" And she's like, "Hi, Cammy. How you doing, hon?" And she's like, "Why?" I was like, "I would like to have my coach when I go into the delivery room." Well, because I wasn't screaming and yelling and going on when I went out here to the local hospital, they didn't think I was in labor. I'd been in premature labor 6 other times and had to have it stopped. I knew what them labor pains were. They got me upstairs. They hadn't even called my OBGYN yet. And the nurse looked at me and she's like, "Oh my," she goes, "your water just broke and you're fully effaced." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been telling them downstairs for the last 3 hours that I was in labor and they left me set in a waiting room until you guys brought me up here." My sister, this woman, she does not do well around people being. My mom was real bad, brittle diabetic. I mean, she could be real high 1 minute and her sugar would bottom out and she would pass out the next. And the first time mom ever passed out on Leela, Leela took off running out into the middle of the street, screaming, "Hi, Joker." And I come downstairs, found my mom, got her around. Then I went outside. My sister's still standing in the middle of the road in her gown, just screaming. I'm like, "Get your ass in that house." I got her around. But Leela's not the one to get her around. I'm thinking, "Oh my God, okay, she's my coach." But I'm sitting there and I never said a word. Not a word until he said if Dylan wasn't out the next push, he was getting forced. I'm like, "What did you say?" And Dr. Ramirez repeating, like hell you are. For the next push, I made sure Dylan was out. He wasn't sticking all the knobs up in there. Like, sorry, nope, ain't doing it. Oh, she did finally quit for a while. All right, Cammy. But yeah, but Isaac, Dylan's little friend that I was telling you guys about that went back down to the office and pointed that stuff out. Well, his sister had been bullied in Galleon school, so I already knew from Angie, Isaac's mom. Ooh, I didn't wash all that off very good, did I? Instead of eyeliner underneath there. Well, I'll get it in a little bit. And because of the bullying situation here in Galleon. So that's how I knew about the Tomorrow Center. But Isaac even goes up to the Tomorrow Center now. I mean, if they have such a problem that they have to bus a busload of kids every day from Galleon to Cardington, something should say, "Night, Joker. See you tomorrow." I'm sure on one of the streams. You know, Galleon should see that they have a problem. And it took Isaac's mom, my cousin Chris, another one of our friends, and me to start a group for parents and teachers. And we went and we passed out flyers. We had stickers made up for local businesses to put in their window that if the kids see the tiger paw with the WAG logo on it, that they knew that that was a safe haven, that they could go in there, whether, if they were being bullied or somebody, they were just scared that somebody was following them or something, if they could go in there as a safe haven until the proper authorities or parents could be reached. Guyan had nothing like that in place. Nothing for these kids. Hi, Donna. How are you? Karen, are you still in here, girl? You're the whole reason I went live. Night, Jack girl. How was everybody's day? Instead of me just running off at the chops. All I said was that I would go live, and Karen said that she couldn't do it, and she would come in the chat and talk. So I said, "Well, I'll go live." So here I am. Oh no, rotten potatoes! That don't sound good. Oh well, good night, Amber. I thought you were leaving, Jack girl. Oh, Karen, when she ended her stream, Donna, she had said, "Why didn't somebody else?" Because he was going to bed. That way she could still come in and talk. And I said, "Well, I'll go on." Thank you, Donna. I don't feel it right now. I don't have my makeup on no more. And I feel like I'm doing all the talking here. I'm running out of things to talk about. I know Mama Loves was you in the chat the other night, Donna, when we were talking about tattoos? Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it real well, but I have that one there that says I love you to the moon and back. I know Mama Loves was in there because she was talking about getting her birthday tat. I've got that one, and then I've got Winnie the Pooh on my leg, and he's holding a balloon with my son's name in it. Oh, Carmen. We already ate. I made breaded pork chops. Uh, what did we have with the pork chop? Oh, corn and mashed potatoes and gravy. I want at least one more. My mom loved Precious Angels. So I'm going to get a Precious Angels with her name, her date of birth, and the date she died. That's going to be my next one. That'll be for my mom. That bounce. Oh, there I got her. There's my little girl I'm always talking about. That's my spoiled rotten. That's Miss Spoiled Rotten right there. Yeah. Yes, mommy's a love bug. Yes, mama's a love bug. Now, see, I didn't think either one of them hurt. The one on my calf or the one on my arm. Thanks, Donna. Matter of fact, when I got the one on my arm, I was just sitting there talking to the tattoo artist like she wasn't doing nothing. And the one on my leg, I think it was just the position that they had my leg in. Aw, her name's Belle. She's spoiled rotten. If she thinks she's the center of attention, if she's not with me, she's with daddy. If she's not with daddy, then she's with brother. But now she will give Dylan attitude and talk back to Dylan. But she don't do with us. But she's my sweetheart. I'd be lost without her. And see, Donna, my mom always wanted a min pen. Dad, once us kids got out of the house, he's like, there's no more dogs in the house. Don't even think about it. My sister and I were always bringing stray animals home. He never knew what he's going to come home to. I mean, we've had pet turtles, raccoons, bunnies, dogs. We had a pet squirrel, fish. Me and my sister were always bringing something home. Especially me, being a tomboy. I went and caught turtles and frogs. And we bringing them home. Now, frogs, my mom was deathly afraid of frogs. She would lock she would lock me outside until I took and put that somewhere where it wasn't gonna be nowhere near her. She hated a frog. Yes, Donna, we all have to stick together here and stand strong. We can't let Amy win. Have a good night, Donna. See you tomorrow, I'm sure somewhere. Oh, thank you, Priscilla. Good night, hon. I wish I could do that now to my stepmom. Me and her don't get along. Belle, what are you doing? Quit. Mama's gonna get you. She's so rotten. I love my little girl to death, but she's rotten. Winter is her is spoiled rotten. I can remember we'd be out in the backyard working in the garden when I was little. And my mom, as she seen a gardener, she was out of there. And I'd be catching them. I'm like, look, Mom, it's just a gardener snake. I wasn't getting near her as long as I had a snake or a frog in my hand. She was gone. Karen, are you still in here? She's the reason I went live. I seen her pop in, but I haven't seen her since, unless she's been typing and I've just been talking and not seen it, which could be. Good night, Priscilla. Well, I think I'm going to hop off here and go spend some time with the old man. He's up and ate and watching his movie, so he don't have to work tonight. So maybe we'll pop something in we both can watch. But thank you to each and every one of you that came in tonight. I enjoyed it. Maybe you never know. I might go live again. Night all.